Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Today in History, the only history show where we proudly admit that, yes, we did Google all of this. And yes, we're still going to pretend we learned it in AP World History instead of copying off that one kid who smelled like Axe body spray and existential dread. Today is January 10th, a date so historically stacked, it looks like it's trying to get into Harvard by padding its resume. Civil wars, oil gushers, space science, Norman conquerors, and David Bowie just casually reinventing art one last time. January 10th is the day history looked at the calendar and said, you know what? Let's speed run civilization. Segment 1, Crossing the Rubicon, Rome's OG, I'm not going back to HR moment. January 10th, 49 BC. Julius Caesar crosses the Rubicon, looks at the Senate, and basically says, try and stop me, bros. This is the moment that killed the Roman Republic, because Caesar decided the rules were more of a suggestion, like don't microwave fish in the office. He crosses a stream the size of a kiddie pool, and suddenly Rome's institutions collapse like a tent from Walmart. Caesar marches with just one legion, which is the ancient equivalent of showing up to a 300-person bar fight with your cousins and saying, we got this. And the famous line, alia jacta est, the die is cast. Or as modern politicians say, oops. It starts the Civil War. Pompey flees, and Rome transitions from a republic to a dictatorship faster than you can say limited government. If you ever want a case study in how fragile democracy is, remember, the Roman Republic lasted 500 years, and one guy with confidence issues ended it in an afternoon. Segment 2, Wang Mang, Galba, and the elite guys who said, I should run things. January 10th in antiquity isn't just Caesar's Chaos Day. In 9 AD, Wang Mang invents the Qin dynasty by basically stealing the mandate of heaven like it's a parking spot he clearly didn't deserve. It's the world's earliest example of, I didn't like the results, so I'm just going to start a new government. Then, in 69 AD, Emperor Galba picks his successor and accidentally speedruns his own assassination. This kicks off the Year of the Four Emperors, which is the Roman version of when your HOA keeps electing new presidents and each one is somehow worse. January 10th, a great day for starting a dynasty, ending a dynasty, or just being murdered because you picked the wrong intern. History, it's relatable. Segment 3, Knights, Normans, and a Moldovan underdog story better than Rocky. Jump to medieval times. January 10th is a highlight reel. 1072, Robert Guiscard and his brother Roger take Palermo, ending centuries of Islamic rule and creating a culture so blended it makes modern fusion restaurants look unimaginative. The Normans were like, we conquered you, but we love your admin system. We'll keep it. 1430, Philip the Good invents the Order of the Golden Fleece, a club for rich guys who wanted to cosplay as moral paragons while also plotting extremely political things over wine. Think of it as the original LinkedIn networking group, but with swords. 1475, Stephen the Great of Moldavia wins the Battle of Vaslui against an Ottoman army 3 times bigger. He uses fog, swamps, and pure Eastern European spite to win. The Pope names him Athleta Christi, which is Latin for, dude absolutely cooked those guys. Segment 4, Pain, Laud, and the Frontier. January 10th declares, down with kings. January 10th sees the Enlightenment take the wheel. 1645, Archbishop William Laud gets executed because Parliament decided divine right of kings was cute, but also no. His death foreshadows the eventual beheading of Charles I, proving that sometimes the sequel isn't better, but is definitely gorier. Then, in 1776, Thomas Paine drops Common Sense, the pamphlet that slaps King George III so hard it leaves a mark visible across the Atlantic. Written in plain English, scandalous. It sells 120,000 copies in weeks. That's the colonial equivalent of going viral on TikTok, except instead of dances, it leads to independence. 1791 gives us the Siege of Dunlap Station, A reminder that America's frontier history is not the wholesome campfire story our textbooks sometimes pretend it was. It's messy, violent, complicated, very on brand for the United States. Segment 5, secession, subways, Standard Oil, and the day Texas became Texasier. January 10th loves infrastructure almost as much as America loves pretending Florida behaves itself. 1861, Florida secedes from the Union. Not exactly shocking. Florida wakes up every day choosing chaos. 1863, the London Underground opens, the world's first subway. Steam trains underground. It's like they intentionally invented asthma. But it works. 38,000 riders on day one. The modern commute is born, along with millions of people passive-aggressively pretending not to make eye contact. 1870, Rockefeller forms Standard Oil. America says, wait, monopolies can do that? And the next 40 years become the business version of a toddler refusing to share toys. 1876, Porfirio Diaz launches the Plan of Tuxtepec. Mexico begins its long walk into modernization and dictatorship, proving again that January 10th is the day political systems say, let's mix things up and hope nobody dies. Spoiler, lots of people died. Segment 6, the modern world arrives. Oil, diplomacy, radar to the moon, and the jet age. January 10th in the 20th century, absolute cinematic universe crossover energy. 1901, Spindletop erupts. Oil shoots 100 feet in the air. Texas is reborn as the world's energy capital. If Caesar's Rubicon crossing created an empire, Spindletop created Houston. 1920, League of Nations is born and immediately crippled because the U.S. is like, great idea, we won't be participating. The world's first attempt at international group therapy fails before the first session ends. 1927, Metropolis premieres. The world first sees dystopian skyscrapers, oppressed workers, and a sexy robot. Sci-fi is never the same. 1929, Tintin debuts. A Belgian reporter with a dog becomes the world's most famous boy detective. For some reason, he never ages, probably because he saw too much. 1946, the first UN General Assembly meets, and at the same time, Project Diana bounces radar waves off the moon. Humanity invents global governance and extraterrestrial communication in one day. January 10th is all about multitasking. 1954, Boke Flight 781 crashes due to metal fatigue, and aviation learned the groundbreaking truth. Don't put square windows on pressurized tubes of hurtling metal. Segment 7, Bowie, Hamilton, and the complicated legends of January 10th. January 10th also brings us the births and deaths of icons. Alexander Hamilton is maybe born on January 10th, or maybe not. The man lied about his age like someone trying to get into a bar without an ID. But he built America's financial system, so we'll allow it. Coco Chanel dies on this day, a fashion revolutionary whose legacy includes the little black dress, modern perfume, and some deeply shady World War II associations, proving icons can be complicated. And then 2016, David Bowie leaves Earth 2 days after dropping Blackstar, making his death the most Bowie thing ever, transforming mortality into performance art. The entire world mourns. Sales spike 2,000%. Ziggy Stardust leaves the building, but his influence doesn't. January 10th is the day history decides to flex. Its ambition, collapse, art, rebellion, science, war, diplomacy, all rolled into one date that keeps humanity evolving, arguing, inventing, and occasionally losing square window airplanes. In conclusion, January 10th is the historical equivalent of a Costco sampler platter. Except, instead of free cheese cubes, you get collapsing republics, exploding oil wells, radical manifestos, scientific breakthroughs, and David Bowie staring into the cosmos one last time. It's the day humanity keeps stepping over thresholds. Rivers, subway tunnels, political boundaries, even the literal ionosphere, into eras we can't walk back from. January 10th proves history isn't just something that happens. It's something that pushes, pulls, yanks, and sometimes shoves us forward. And we, poor mortals with calendars, just try to keep up. Thanks for joining us on this time-traveling chaos tour. This has been Klepper's Corner Today in History, where the dates are real, the jokes are questionable, and the future is probably watching.